Today on Forbes, this daring developer wants to power America's AI future. Nate Franklin, CEO of Pacifico Energy, has a grand plan to build the nation's largest electric power generating complex on 84 acres of flat West Texas scrub desert in desolate, sparsely populated Pecos County. There's only about 14,000 people spread over 4,800 square miles there. Franklin has got an option on the land and has already received air emission permits from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, giving Pacifico the green light to erect dozens of natural gas turbines, generating 7.5 gigawatts of power. The complex he envisions will also include solar panels, producing 750 megawatts of power, plus batteries with a storage capacity of 1.8 gigawatt hours, and will put out sufficient juice to power 5 million Texas homes, or enough for all of New York City on most days. What Franklin doesn't have yet is the $12 billion he estimates it will take to build the power complex, or a commitment from the hyperscalers, the big cloud service providers like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, to build AI data centers to consume all that energy. Those commitments are needed to shake loose the capital to build his dream. Franklin, who is confident he'll get those commitments, says, quote, "The demand for this intelligence will justify all the power projects underway now." The project, which Franklin has christened GW Ranch, might not be as far-fetched as it sounds, considering that the hyperscalers are expected to spend $650 billion in 2026 alone, and that Elon Musk and others are talking about putting AI data centers in space to run on solar power. Moreover, at a time when some local communities are rejecting data centers, in part because of their energy consumption, Franklin intends to keep costs and opposition low by staying entirely disconnected from the state power grid run by ERCOT, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. He was drawn to this spot by what he refers to as, quote, "the cheapest, most abundant gas in the world." A few miles away is the Waha Hub, an intersection of a dozen pipelines that collect natural gas produced from surrounding oil fields. The gas is a byproduct of more lucrative oil drilling. When oil prices are high and rigs are busy, the price of gas at Waha can go negative. Why not build the nation's biggest power plant if you can get your fuel cheap or even for free? If it gets built, Franklin says the project could power some $200 billion worth of AI supercomputers, millions of square feet filled with racks of GPUs from the likes of NVIDIA. He observes, quote, "Certain customers want the ability to scale larger and larger. 2 years ago, we were talking about tens of gigawatts, and now it's hundreds." Needless to say, this is a high-stakes gamble. Despite having no customers, Pacifico already has gas turbines on order and expects its first deliveries late this year, with an eye to ramping up an initial 1 gigawatt of gas-fired power in 2028. So far, Franklin has funded startup costs in-house. But the big dollars will have to come from others, perhaps, given Franklin's unusual international experience, Japanese companies. Franklin started Pacifico Energy in Tokyo in 2012, initially operating out of a 2-person office. Soon he was developing projects like Kumanon Mega Solar, an installation in mountainous terrain, with backing from the likes of General Electric, Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi UFJ, and a syndicate led by Sumitomo Mitsui Trust Bank. With the help of Nomura and Goldman Sachs, he raised a $142 million solar fund in 2017 and another for $266 million in 2019. With more than 20 solar projects, Pacifico grew into Japan's biggest developer. Masayuki Nagano of Daiwa Securities points out that Japanese energy giants like JERA, Tokyo Gas, and JAPEX have already spent more than $15 billion acquiring U.S. assets in the natural gas value chain. Most recently, Mitsubishi agreed to buy private gas producer Aethon Energy for $7.5 billion. Moreover, last July, in tariff talks with the Trump administration, diplomats agreed that Japanese companies would invest $550 billion into the U.S. by the end of Trump's second term. And just this past week, Trump announced $36 billion of preliminary investments into energy and mineral projects in Ohio, Texas, and Georgia. For full coverage, check out Christopher Hellman's piece on Forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.